This is Lisa with Queen Bee Creations. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator located here in Twin Falls, Idaho. I love to help you guys out online, and every Monday I do a free Facebook Live class. And today we're going to be learning on how to make the triple slider card. And so this card is what we're working on today. I'm going to bring you down to my desk here and show you that this is out of the suite located on page 37. We're going to be using the designer series paper called Snowflake Splendor and the Snowflake Wishes bundle. It's out of our this year's holiday catalog, which they have now renamed the August to December mini catalog. And this is our card. Again, really pretty design. Pulls out and has extra messages. This is what we're making. Everything I'm using is available through my online store through Stampin' Up. Again, this is the stamp set. I've cut out all my pieces in advance so I can just tell you guys what I'm using. I used the purple posy cardstock. Now I had to start out with a piece of 12 by 12, and I want to let you guys know we do have 12 by 12 cardstock. I know it's not a widespread thing that people use, but I started out in Stampin' Up! Doing scrapbooking, and so I needed to have 12 by 12 paper for my scrapbooking. So let me show you in our catalog. There's some 12 by 12 on page 153 that is the Whisper White and the Very Vanilla, but then we also have it over in our regular stuff. So here we have the 12 by 12 sheets of cardstock, and you can get them in the brights, neutrals, regals, subtles, or you can get them in the in colors. And so I chose the in colors, which had purple posy. So my base here is 4.5 by 11 5/8. So it's just a little bit longer than the standard 11.5 or 8.5 by 11. We're going to score this at 3 7/8. The next piece is going to be 3 1/8 by 10 1/4, and then a piece that's 3 by 3. And I've made myself lots of little notes here, so don't worry, I will get to those. Here is a piece of the blue, because I'm going to layer it on Seaside Spray, which is another color from that set of in colors. Then I have a piece that's 2 by 3 1/4, or 2 1/4 by 3 1/4, sorry. 2 1/4 by 3 1/4, 2 1/4, and 2 7/8. Then I have some Whisper White, 2 1/8 by 3 1/8. 2 1/8 by 2 3/4. The front of our card is going to have a piece of designer series paper, 3 5/8 by 4 1/4. And then I have a little piece 2 5/8 by 1 1/4 for our sentiment, which is going to be this piece here. I've already pre-cut out of their beautiful die cuts some snowflakes that I'm going to layer one on top of each other to go on the front of our card. And then I've got 2 little strips of designer series paper. They're about 1/2 inch, and these are cut to, I don't know, approximately 3 1/4, but I'm going to chop them down to a more reasonable size, and you'll see why in a minute. Because in order to make this card, what we're going to do is we're going to take the big piece, again, 4.5 by 11 5/8, scored at 3 7/8. And it actually needs 2 score lines, but in order to make it score in exactly where I want it, what I'm going to do is fold it over into itself and then fold it down. So do you see how I did that? I just took this edge, put it into the fold line, and then I'm going to burnish it with my bone folder. Now I'm going to do the same thing with this piece. Again, 3 1/8 by 10 1/4. Score at 3 3/8. And then we're going to fold this into itself. Make sure that we're square. And then just push down. So these will be our 3 pieces of the card. You following me? This is our base. Now, we're going to need to make some slits in here. So I want you to get your paper trimmer. And then with this on the 1-inch mark, we're going to put that score line right here on the 1 inch. Then I'm going to take my blade, let me flip it around for you, because I want to use the measurements on here. So I'm going at 1 inch, and this is just a stickered measuring tape. And you can get them, I understand, at hardware stores and at sewing stores. This one I actually picked up at IKEA, and then I just put sticky on the back of it because I wanted the measurements up here. But I have heard that you can get them on, you know, Amazon or whatever for fairly cheap. And then I put a piece of our tear-in tape behind here so I can read these numbers. Because what I want to do is with this on the 1 inch mark, I'm going to put this on a 1/2 inch. So my 1/2 inch mark right here. So I'm going to go down at 1/2 inch, and I'm going to go down to 3 inch. So I'm just lining up the little line in the side of my blade with the 3 inch mark on there. So that's why I had to have it flip this direction, and why I have the tear-in tape behind there so you could read it. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to line it up at the 1 inch on this side, and I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm going to go from 3 inch to 1/2 inch. So there's our 2 slits. Now I'm going to do something similar on the next piece. On this one, we're going to again go at the 1 inch mark, but we're going to start at the 1/4 and go down to 2.5. Again, the 1 inch line on this side, 1/4 inch, down to 2.5. Okay, are you with me so far? Okay, now I was talking about these little pieces of designer series paper. They're going to go into the little slots, and we're going to weave it through like that. Okay, and then we're going to do the same thing on this one. And then I'm going to flip it over and fold these in. Burnish them a little. And then remember I was saying that they might be a little long. I don't really want them to overlap a whole lot, so I'm going to fold this one over and cut it a little. There we go. So now there's those 2 pieces. You with me? Next, tear-in tape. I'm going to put this on the opposite side on the edge. So now what we're going to do is put a little bit of adhesive on here, and I want it to just stick up just a little bit because, as you can see, I want to be able to have it poke out so we can grab that. So I'm going to put some adhesive on here. I'm going to use the Seal Plus, but then I'm going to center it, and like I said, have it poke out just a tad. Then I'm going to fold it over, and we're going to seal this side. So this little piece is going to be what pops up. Now I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to put a little bit of adhesive on the strip. And then we're going to put this kind of flush with the edge. and centered. Then we're going to fold it over and peel back this. And that's really kind of all there is to it. You know, I don't want to make this any more complicated than it is, because from here on out, all it is decorating. So we're just going to layer up and decorate this as if it was a regular card. But that's all there was to the mechanism. What do you think? Easy enough? Or does anybody have any questions on how we did that? Like I said, we're going to come in next and we're going to layer on the next piece. And I'm just going to kind of tuck it in. And I suppose we could have done this before I put it together, but I wanted to just show you so that maybe you would make a, I don't know, a prototype that you would just have so that this was easy enough to pull in and out. I wanted to make sure I stuck it on the side that didn't have the mechanism, you know, or had the piece. Okay, next is this one. So we're going to put the middle piece on, 2 1/4 by 3 1/4. And then the front, 3 3/4 by 4 3/8. See, it is easy. Once it's all together, it looks complicated because there's so many pieces, but a lot of the pieces are just decorating. So putting it together is not that complicated. And I did a card last year, you can also see on my YouTube channel, where I did it with the elf, and it was just one piece that pulled out. It wasn't 2. So if you don't want 3 layers, you can just have the 2 and it would still pull in and out. But I decided to go with the 3 this time. Again, I'm going to take the designer series paper and decorate the front. And then we're going to do some stamping on our little pieces that are going to go inside. So I'm going to bring in our stamp set. Okay, Snowflake Wishes for a Merry Christmas. I line this up on the grid paper and then line my block on the grid paper to make sure that it's straight. Works better when I go straight down from the top. And I'm going to stamp those on our white pieces. 2 1/8 by 3 1/8. 2 1/8 by 2 3/4. 2 5/8 by 1 1/4. Okay, I'm going to stamp the sentiments in Highland Heather. And I'm going to go a little towards the top instead of centering it, because I want to allow for the little piece that's going to be tucked underneath. I don't want to hide anything, but I want to leave room for the snowflakes. So, you know, there's a happy medium. Okay, while I have that out, before I put my ink away, I'm going to sponge the edges on my sentiment. Here's my little box of daubers. Toss one to the floor. Highland Heather, here we go. If you guys are looking for that top piece that tells you the order I have my daubers in the box, just let me know and I will send you the PDF. And I can also give you a link for where to find the box on Amazon. So I sponged it with the Highland Heather. But you know, I'm also going to come in and I'm going to sponge it with the Seaside Spray as well. Since the front of our designer series paper has kind of a melding of colors, I thought we'd copy the look. And so I'm just coming in from the side, going over a little heavier, you know, or a little more towards the middle, and sponging it with both colors. And then I'm going to take our snowflakes and just randomly stamp them around. So now all we have to do is adhere those to our card. And those are going to go in here the same way. See, so not too complicated, right? Easy peasy. Have anybody started doing their Christmas shopping yet? I hear with COVID and everything, there's going to be a whole lot more shopping online. So if you guys are looking for ideas, who wouldn't love Stampin' Up for Christmas, right? I do give gift certificates, so if your husband or significant other wants to buy you a gift, we can do gift certificates. You might want to buy a kit for a friend that you're trying to get into stamping so they can come and have fun with you. And my husband, of course, has his laser engraving business, so no pressure, but I want to just give you guys the options of, you know, shopping locally and supporting your friends, and if I can do that for you, let me know. Here we go. Here's our snowflakes. So I'm just going to start with the big one on the bottom, and then I'm going to use glue dots and just layer them, and I'm going to offset them. You've seen me do this with the daisies a lot. We're just going to shoot off in a different direction. And then we're going to put this one on the top. And so we'll alternate that again. And I put glue dots in there so the middle's just a tiny bit sticky, and I thought what I would do is put a rhinestone in the middle to cover that up so it's no longer sticky. And I wanted it to overlap the sentiment a little bit, so I'm going to have it tuck over. These are gum containers. At the checkout, they always sell those big packs of, I think it's Extra is the name of the gum. And when the case is empty, then you have this great little thing to store rhinestones and pearls and enamel dots, all that good stuff. They work perfectly in there. So I'm going to do two little ones, and I'm going to do a big one in the middle. So we're just about done. The last thing I have is to add the little pull tab to the top. You can do these with the layering circle dies. For speed's sake, for our video, I'm going to use some retired punches. So I've got one, that one was about 1 1/8. Then I'm going to do 1 1/2. There we go. So I'm just going to score these down the middle. And so this is just going to go on here. And what that's going to do is it's going to show them that there's something they need to pull on. So I'll add a couple glue dots, again close to the edge, so that they'll get the white paper. And then I'm going to do another one in the middle so it sticks to itself. We want to make sure it doesn't fall off as they pull it. Oh, I wrote myself a note because I watched our CEO, Sarah Douglas, the other day made a video, and she said the reason they call this Stampin' Seal is that it's simply easy adhesive laydown. Did you know the seal stood for something? Okay, so there's our card. I hope you enjoyed today's Facebook Live and that you give this layout a try. I'd love to see you post a photo of whatever it is that you make using this layout in the creativity realm. I love to give away prizes to those of you who post pictures of your work in there. And I will see you right back here next Monday at 2:30 for another Facebook Live. Thanks for joining me. Bye.